right, good evening, everyone. This is a regular meeting of the Town Council. It is Monday, June 8th. It is 7:03 p.m. Will everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Following Town Council members are present in chambers: Gagnon, Cohup, Mauer, Formicella, and Duva. The following Town Council member is here remotely: Reed. The following Town Council members are absent this evening: O'Rourke, Wales, Lapellis. I will begin with our public hearing, which is item number 3 on our agenda, which reads 2026 Neighborhood Act Assistance Program. Pursuant to Connecticut General Statute Section 12-632, the Town Council shall conduct a public hearing to receive input on proposals submitted for consideration for the 2026 Neighborhood Act Assistance Program. I will call this public hearing to order, and I will open up the public hearing to any comments by those who are in Town Council chambers. Is there any member of the public that would like to participate during this public hearing regarding 2026 Neighborhood Act Assistance Program? Would you like to name an address? So you got to come down, unfortunately. I'm sorry. It's a public meeting. So.
Monroe. I chair the Conservation Commission, so I just wanted to support our application and just say that we're hoping that you accept it as an application, and we're concerned about the hemlock trees in Wet Mountain. It's an important tree for wildlife. It's actually a very important tree for Wet Mountain, and there is an insect that's been around for a long time, but it does negatively affect the hemlock trees. So we're looking at the biocontrol for it that has been around for over 30 years. They're extensively tested prior to being released. So when biocontrols, like an insect, are released to address another insect that is a problem on a plant, they are sure that this thing is not going to go out and start eating everything else, or other insects or anything along that line. So they're tested for years and years to make sure that they're safe for the environment. It's a product that has been around again for over 30 years. But we're hoping to maybe we'll get something for it to get the beetles and release them and help the hemlock trees. Any questions on that?
Thank you very much.
Who releases them?
We can. They just come in deliver a little container.
Okay.
And we've been talking with Dr. Carol Chia, who is kind of the expert on the hemlocks and this particular insect. And so she would assist us with that, but it's pretty well known science.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're very easy. Literally, you just take it. They kind of like the little straw thing that's in the container. You just put it on a limb of a tree that has the hemlock oleodelgin, which is bad inside.
It's the oleodelgin.
The beetles, and they do fly, so they would just go. Thank you.
Can I inquire?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just curious. It is the woody delgate. Is that what I heard you say?
The hemlock oleodelgin is the one that eats the
Right.
Yes.
And with the beetles that are being released, is there any possibility that they would be of assistance to any other area where there are hemlocks that might be infested with?
Yeah, I mean they could be. Yeah, they do fly, so they would move.
Right.
They aren't necessarily going to fly all the way across town or something, but they would definitely
And do those beetles have a natural predator?
They don't. They're not from
From around here.
Yeah, exactly. Because the hemlock oleodelgin is from, I think, it's Japanese originally. So that so when they do find biocontrols, they go where the insect they're trying to control naturally lives, and then they find out what's the control for that. What's the normal balance there, and then they find the insect that attacks them. So yeah.
And I heard what you said, that there's been a 30-year study, but my thought always goes to, have we just introduced something else that we can't control?
No, they've been released for 30 years. They were studied for a long time prior to.
Okay.
They've been actively released since the 90s.
Okay.
So, yeah, no,
Great.
there's no place that they're saying, oh my gosh, now we've got this
Beetle.
beetle that's now in, so that's, they take great control of it, their care to make sure that it's not something that's going to be a new problem.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
Good. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to turn this over to anybody else that's in town council chambers that would like to participate regarding the 2026 Neighborhood Act Assistance Program, which covered, I believe, 4 programs: Project Warmth, food pantry programs, community fall prevention programs, and the Conservation Water Resources Commission application regarding the hemlock trees. Anybody? Okay, not seeing anybody. I'm just going to look online. Is there any member of the public that would like to participate regarding the 2026 Neighborhood Act Assistance Program this evening? Please digitally raise your hand. It is a yellow hand emoji, and I will permit you to speak through electronic means. All right, not hearing, not seeing anybody. Anyone, town council chambers, one last time? No. Okay, all right, that's it for public participation regarding the public hearing as item 3 of our agenda. I'm going to move to item 4, our consent calendar. Is there any objection to me passing consent calendar as presented? No objection. Hearing none, I'm going to pass the consent calendar as presented. I move to communication items A through L. I ask they be incorporated into the minutes of our meeting this evening, and I'm moving on to item 6, which is public participation. Is there any member of the public that would like to participate this evening? Name and address, just please at the podium. Okay, thanks. Just come down, name and address at the podium.
Hi, good evening again. Dustin Holt, 30 Richmond Drive. Just following up, we met a few weeks back with the subcommittee led by Mr. Duba and fellow council members. And we're just looking to follow up and see where we are in the process. My wife did send an email just looking for some help, like a timeline and where we go from here. I wonder if there might have been a miscommunication. We were under the impression that Mr. Leo had advised to continue moving the process forward. I don't know what the process is. The Aquarium was nice. They had kind of a nice sheet, start to finish for their end on a construction. And it would be cool if we can get something similar from you. And if you don't know that, I guess that's part of this process is the discovery of how do we get to the finish line. Some of the things that were unanswered were some of the emails. So actually I have a signed document here from this weekend from 11 out of 14 neighbors that would like to continue moving forward with their emails. One person just chose not to share their email for obvious reasons. So besides that, so I'd like to submit this and turn this into you and politely ask that we keep this train moving to at some point in the future come to back in front of you for a final vote. Another thing that was concerning to me at the last meeting was we had the luxury of meeting with Mr. Lito as the attorney subject matter expert and Mr. Bonoski as the finance director. Because this isn't a normal practice, I feel everyone has a lot of opinions in this matter. It's not just cut and dry. But something was pretty concerning that came through. I would like to foreshadow a problem that I think we have to overcome. There is a scenario here where not everybody is happy. And I don't think we should add additional harm to the members who are the people who live on Richmond Drive who don't want to tie in the water. I don't think that's fair to them. What am I talking about? Mr. Bonoski said as the finance director that it was his opinion at that time, hopefully subject to change, that not only will we be able to possibly borrow the money and pay the town back, but we have to pay the town back the loss of the return of the investment. In his statement, we would possibly bond the money out or pull the money from the general fund us as the residents would potentially pay him back over a 10-year period. And if you choose not to pay, you have a compounding interest at whatever the market rate is. He even gave us a diagram which showed over 10 years, over a 50% increase in the cost compared to someone who chose not to tie into city water. It's not what we did on Forest Road. I have that for a fact because my parents lived there and I have a bunch of supporting documentation for that. I'm pretty confident that's not what we've done anywhere else or any other municipality has done when they run a sewer or water main extension, anything. We don't ask our residents to pay for the potential return on investment losses because we've taken that money out of the general fund to be paid back at a later date. The request that I'm asking to overcome here is obviously you guys are going to seek the advice of the town attorney who sat on this board. And obviously you're going to seek the advice of the finance director. But I implore you to also represent us. And just as much as we appreciate their subject matter expert opinions, I appreciate you to represent us to put this more of a personal touch to it. Would you want that to happen to one of your neighbors? Would you? I just don't think it's right. It's just a matter of right and wrong to me. If there's a dollar amount owed equally amongst the residents, we all share the burden, not the compounding interest if you choose not to pay. I think you should pay your fair share, whatever the cost of that project is, and that's it. But that's my opinion, and I would like to sit down and hopefully meet with the finance board and make that case. But I also believe that you guys have the ability to help that happen too. So Mrs. Gagnon, here's a signed document.
Thank you.
Like I said, from 11 of the 14 residents that are asking you to keep this property.
Is that the original? Like
That is
signed in it? Okay.
Thank you very much.
You have copies?
I took a copy of it, but I can.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to do. You don't have to, I'm not going to ask any questions, but so you've handed this to me. So I'm going to make this part of our record this evening. And so what will happen was I'll submit to the first selectman's office and they'll include it in our next packet. So as long as you have an understanding from your neighbors that this will be part of the packet, which means that their emails will be, part of the communications. Do you have permission? I assume you had permission because you're giving this.
Permission to put it on the town website, but I had permission to turn it into you.
Okay. All
So,
right. So why don't you ask them,
Yeah.
and then we'll figure out what we have to do to have this distributed to everybody. If it has to be redacted or whatever,
Okay.
we'll figure it out. Okay.
I can also follow up with an email, just to Nina, because she's been in contact with us.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
personally would like to thank along the way, Mr. Mauer called me. He had educated himself. He talked to a friend about this particular filtration, and he didn't have to do that. It was very genuine. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for me, but he went out of his way. It was above and beyond. I think it should be noted. I'm very grateful for that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Is there another member of the public that would like to participate this evening that's in town council chambers? Yes, please come to the podium, name and address, please.
Susan Nebraska, 36 Richmond Drive. I hadn't planned on saying anything tonight, but I'm loudly concerned and frustrated because the first subcommittee meeting was back in January, which many of us attended, but not everybody. This is a huge decision that all the residents on Richmond Drive have to make. And I know Dustin and Mike have been almost at every town council meeting speaking out. Dustin's been doing a lot of groundwork, trying to move us forward. We've been here fighting for what we feel is important to us. I don't understand why the other 8 residents on Richmond Drive are not coming forward as often as we are and putting as much time into this, because this is an important life-changing decision for all of us. So there's no answer. It's just a concern and a frustration on my part, why there doesn't seem to be more interest in people coming forward and saying, A, this is what I want. B, this is what I don't want. I think it's a very simple decision. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there another member of the public that would like to participate this evening? Name and address at the podium, please.
Mike Serrato, 23 Richmond Drive. So I have attended since January, as Sue was saying. I've been to 2 committee meetings. This is the 3rd town council meeting I've been to since January. So I am in favor of the going forward with this. Yeah, as are, including me and Dustin, as are 9 other residents of the street. And I'm kind of going through the big reasons why we need this on our street. We have a very high iron content. We have problems with our faucets. We have problems with our well, where I have a UV system that I don't want anymore. I'm in the process of paying $1,500 a year about. I have to do a new tank. I need to upgrade the system. The amount of money that I'm spending on this, to me, to my family, is really important. It's something that really needs to get done. My bigger concern is the fact that we've been here since January, kind of going around in circles. And I appreciate everything that you do, but I want to go forward with this. And I don't know how many meetings take place between June, July, August, but this is something that I don't want to have held over. And I appreciate you, Mr. Chairman, putting it on the docket for kind of moving forward. But I really want to make sure it does go forward, because this is something that's really important to me, as it is to many other residents on my street. And so I appreciate you moving this forward.
Thank you very much. Is there another member of the public that would like to participate that is currently in town council chambers? Seeing none, hearing none, I'm going to move to our participants online. Is there any member of the public that would like to participate this evening? Please digitally raise your hand by selecting the yellow hand emoji. Seeing none, hearing none, one last time. Town council chambers, anybody? Seeing none, hearing none, I'm going to close public participation. We're going to move on to item 7, our appointments this evening, resolution 26-062, Councilmember Mauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we pass resolution 26-062, resolve that the Monroe Town Council hereby approves the first selectman's appointment of Pauline Donovan to the Commission for the Aging for a term ending July 2nd, 2029.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Gagnon. Councilmember Mauer, discussion.
Thank you. Ms. Donovan is originally from Massachusetts. She decided after nursing school that clinical nursing was not her calling and instead pursued a career in healthcare administration. She worked in hospital settings on a variety of projects, including budgeting, physician quality, and credentialing, and then the transition from paper to digital medical records. She is passionate about supporting and advocating for patients and their healthcare needs, as well as raising awareness about healthcare fraud. In 2003, Pauline and her husband retired, purchased an RV, and spent several years exploring America. During their travels, they volunteered at a care facility in Texas that supported full-time travelers in need of assisted living services. They also spent 2 summers staffing a Connecticut state park. When they concluded their travels, they settled in Virginia to be closer to family on the East Coast. During their 7 years in Roanoke, Pauline volunteered with the local Office on Aging and served on her church's pastoral care committee. Family health needs eventually brought Pauline and her husband to Monroe in 2023, and they have come to love their new hometown. This appointment replaces the seat vacated by G. Nicolette, and I ask that we pass that this evening.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting resolution 26-062, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 6-0. He's here this evening. Congratulations. You only have to wait a little bit longer please come in this week to get sworn in by our town clerk or first selectman, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item B, resolution 26-063, Councilmember Mauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we pass resolution 26-063. Resolved that the Monroe Town Council hereby approves the first selectman's appointment of Donat Plotkin to the Inland Wetlands Commission for a term ending February 4th, 2028.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kohut. Mr. Mauer, just.
Mr. Plotkin has been a dedicated resident of Monroe since 2014. Born in the Soviet Union in the late 1980s, he emigrated to the United States at the age of 4 and was raised in Brooklyn, New York, before eventually choosing Monroe as his home. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics, which provides him with a firm understanding of resource management, regulatory compliance, and cost-benefit analysis. Professionally, he has spent the last 10 years working at Yale New Haven Health in various analytical and business analyst capacities. In these roles, he has developed an expertise in examining complex data sets, evaluating systemic impacts, and making objective, evidence-based recommendations. He is eager to apply his decade of institutional analysis and economic background to serve the town of Monroe. This appointment replaces the seat vacated by Benjamin Sabia. I ask that we move forward with this nomination.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting resolution 26-063, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. Mr. Plotkin here? I don't believe so. But congratulations, Mr. Plotkin. All right. Moving on to action items. Action item A, Town Council Committee on Finance, Education, Health, and Public Safety Matters. Councilmember Kohut, any update? Nothing. Thank you. Moving on to B, Town Council Committee on Planning, Zoning, Public Works, and Park and Recreation Matters. Councilmember Duva.
Thank you. A lot of the residents of Richmond Drive have come to various meetings. Just so you know, the ones that you have not come to during town council, we have this update every time and it is discussed every time. So it's not been put on the back burner. I think part of the issue is this hasn't been done in so long that the people that actually did it in the past aren't around anymore to like really give a whole lot of guidance. At least as far as I'm concerned, I'm learning along the way. So from the last time we were here, I informed the rest of the council I was going to try and get everybody's email address and get their opinion. I already know 6 people's opinion who've contacted me directly by email. It looks like Mr. Holt did the rest of that work. So I'm looking forward to when those items are incorporated to getting a copy and at least reaching out, just saying, hey, I got this, just so you know. That being said, according to the charter, the ordinance, as I read it, and procedurally, I think we have to have a subcommittee meeting in order to vote amongst the 3 of us on the subcommittee to advance or not advance to the full town council. That's my reading of the ordinance, is that no work can be done until the town council approves of it. So my plan is to have a subcommittee meeting. And again, I will invite everyone who I have email addresses for to come. And then hopefully we'll have a vote in the subcommittee and then we will proceed from there.
Thank you, Councilmember Duva. We do have some emails here, so I'll share those with you. So
I won't.
We can reach.
I wouldn't make them public. I would just use them to contact the.
I think that Mr. Holt's going to let us know if that's all right or not, and then, but we'll still have it at least in some form contain our next town council packet. I would just ask that the subcommittee determine whether or not it has enough information to make a decision as a recommendation. If it needs any more type of information, to then gather that information before making the recommendation. If there has to be a recommendation by the Board of Finance as to the bonding amount, which was approximately about $500,000. If the subcommittee wants a definitive answer, as to that, or at least guidance as before it makes a recommendation, or if it just wants to move forward in moving it to town council, then we can ask at a later point. But just to consider that as well as any type of work that the town attorney would have to do on it. But again, I will leave it to those subcommittee members if they believe they have enough information to pass on either a recommendation to move forward with the project or the inverse to not move forward with the project. I would just ask that they make an attempt to speak to as many of the homeowners as they can before that.
Understood. My interpretation of reading that ordinance is that it votes out of town council first before anything else. We have enough lawyers on here that can read it and say I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. So, like I said, we'll have a subcommittee meeting and we'll go from there.
All right.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Just in addition to that, my request of the subcommittee as they meet would be that regardless of what the recommendation is, or if more information is needed, that at the next subcommittee meeting, perhaps a proposed timeline, obviously not a firm one, but a proposed timeline that either comes with the recommendation of what the next steps would be, as well as what our initial timeline would be for that, or if there is more information needed before about what the proposed timeline of the subcommittee to be able to get that information and take a vote would be, so that we at least have, like I said, not firm dates, but something to aim for.
I don't disagree. I don't know if I can provide that, but to the best of our ability, we will. Again, this is a process that I don't know anybody knows exactly how to go about it, since it hasn't been done in a while.
All right. Moving on to item C, Town Council Committee on Legislative and Administrative Matters. Councilmember Reed, update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did meet tonight. We discussed 4 matters of new business. The first was the Ademia Identity and Security USA LLC agreement. Second, we talked about the 2026 Neighborhood Assistance Act program application. Third, AARP Community Challenge micro grant agreement. And last and fourth, Fifth Amendment to the MOU for volunteer medical advisor. All reached consensus to come to council.
Thank you, Councilmember Reed. Moving on to item D, Strategic Planning Committee. We have not met since our last town council meeting. Moving on to Open Space Preservation and Acquisition Committee. I may have had a correspondence from Councilmember O'Rourke. I'll just check. No update this town council about that. Moving on to item F, our first selectman's update. Provide town council this evening. I will read the update. As for operations, the Facilities Plan Committee met for its first meeting last week. The meeting was very successful and members are ready to hit the ground running. The committee's first focus will be to gather and evaluate all studies surrounding consideration of school construction. For emergency services, Monroe EMS open house, all are welcome to come to the Emergency Medical Services building for the EMS open house. There will be ambulance tours, demonstrations, lunch, and family-friendly activities. The event is to be held on June 14th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the EMS building. There's an update from the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. The Monroe Police Department participates every year in a run through the streets in support of the Special Olympics. This past Friday, members of our police department proudly participated in the event. Thank you to everyone who supports this annual tradition and helps carry the flame of hope throughout our community. Your support helps promote opportunity and success for our Special Olympic athletes. Community updates, the Lee Hostler Memorial Golf Tournament. The Chamber of Commerce held its first annual Lee Hostler Memorial Golf Tournament at Whitney Farms, honoring Lee Hostler's decades of dedication to the Chamber and the Monroe community. Lee is greatly missed, and Terry believes that he would be deeply honored to know that a golf tournament has been dedicated in his name, continuing his legacy of service, generosity, and commitment to Monroe. for the Barnum Festival. First Selectman attended the Barnum Festival celebration in Stevenson, which featured music activities and fun for all ages. The car show was well attended and added to the festive atmosphere. This year, the Monroe Fire Department showcased its vintage 1975 American LaFrance fire engine, and children enjoyed a touch a truck area featuring multiple fire trucks from the Stevenson and Long Hill Fire Departments. The Barnum Festival celebrates the legacy of P.T. Barnum, the renowned showman, entrepreneur, and one of Connecticut's most famous historic figures. Congratulations to Tom McCarthy, who was chosen as this year's Barnum Festival ringmaster. The Monroe Pride event, the annual Pride flag raising was conducted on Saturday to celebrate Pride Month. During this month, we recognize our nation's commitment to protecting individual rights and respecting people for their differences. Thank you to Councilwoman Gagnon, Superintendent Cobza, and all community members who came out to show their support and make this event meaningful. As for grants received, state and local cybersecurity grant program, the First Selectman is pleased to announce that we have been awarded $70,449 from the Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security for a state and local cybersecurity grant program. This grant is being used to fund cybersecurity matters such as multi-factor authentication, endpoint detection and response, and malicious domain blocking through our IT department. Thank you to IT Director Paul Kors, Economic Development Director Bill Holsworth, our grant writer Rosemary Reiber for seeing this through. And that is the update from First Selectman Rumi, which will of course be part of our items on our website for the town council. And that's it for action items this evening. We have no matters of unfinished business tonight. Moving on to item A, resolution 26-064. I move the town council adopt resolution 26-064. Resolve that the 2026 Neighborhood Assistance Act program applications from the Community and Social Services Department for the Project Warmth and Food Pantry programs, from Monroe EMS for the Community Fall Prevention programs, and from the Conservation and Water Resources Commission for saving Webb Mountain Park's hemlock trees are hereby approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Mauer. I will note that this item, just like as Councilmember Reed noticed, this item was previously approved to move to town council consideration by L&A. We had received public input this evening on one of the projects. Additionally, in our town council packet, there were descriptions of each of these projects, their expectations and requests for funding, as well as a description of all those types of programs. Is there any other discussion regarding this item?
Just Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Just a thank you to all of the organizers from the various committees, from the various organizations that put these together. It's a lot of work getting all the information needed for these. So, and the work that you all do for the town is greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Absolutely. Any other discussion? No. All those in favor of adopting resolution 26-064, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 6-0. Moving on to item B, resolution 26-065. I move that the town council adopt resolution 26-065. Resolve that Terrence P. Rooney, first selectman of the town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on behalf of the town of Monroe the AARP Community Challenge Micro Grant Agreement and any associated documents by and between AARP for the Community Challenge Micro Grant Agreement. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Gagnon. Discussion. Besides what was written in our town council packet, which included a letter of opinion from our town attorney, the actual micro grant agreement. Town has been awarded $2,500 for certain services related to fall prevention and safety, which will be used by our emergency medical services team for marketing purposes as well as the purchase of safety bars and other safety equipment to be given out to those members of our community who are at risk for falls but cannot afford to purchase said equipment. And it will also be used to market these programs by our emergency medical services. Any other discussion on this item? Councilmember Mauer.
Thank you. With the selectman not going to be here tonight, I did have a couple of questions for him that I was able to pose and just wanted to share with the rest of the council. I specifically had questions regarding the scope of the grant. It's in section 7A, where it goes through the various items that are supposed to be delivered as a part of this grant and as a requirement of this grant. And so namely, I asked one, who would be performing the services, two, whether we expect the services to exceed the grant amount, and three, if so, were those services already budgeted for through Bill Holsworth. I did get an answer to all of those questions, and that the services are provided by EMS. These are services that actually are already provided. And this grant money will be used to bolster those already existing programs which accomplish all of those requirements of the grant. And so they have already been budgeted for and already been done in the past by EMS. And this is just to bolster the ability to do those, whether through greater marketing, as mentioned, or through additional supplies.
Thank you. Any other discussion regarding this item? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting resolution 26-065, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 6-0. Moving on to item C, resolution 26-066. I move that the town council adopt resolution 26-066. Resolve that Terrence P. Rooney, first selectman of the town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on behalf of the town of Monroe the Fifth Amendment to Memorandum of Understanding and any associated documents by and between Michael O'Reilly, MD, for the purpose of providing his services as volunteer medical advisor to the Monroe Health Department. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Kohut. Discussion. I believe this is the fifth time that we've retained the services of Dr. O'Reilly in his volunteer capacity as an advisor to our health department. I just want to thank Dr. O'Reilly for his steadfast dedication to the town of Monroe and consistent public service. Any other discussion regarding this item? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting resolution 26-066, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 6-0. We have no unfinished matters of unfinished business. We have no unfinished matters of new business. There's no second public participation this evening. I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 7:41 p.m. Thank you, everyone.